So this is lesson number 18, ratio word problems and similar triangles. We have two words that I need you to be familiar with and know the difference between the two of them here. Ratio and proportion. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers. Any fraction is a ratio. 3 to 4. 3 out of 4. It's a comparison of those two numbers. Okay, so a proportion is an equation that is comparing ratios. So if I have 3, 4 equals 15 over 20, that's a proportion because those two are equal. Now let's say I did not know that this one was a 15. Okay? So if I have that, then in order to solve and find out what that is, I use cross multiplication. So I multiply 4 times x and I set it equal to 20 times 3. 4x equals 60, not 16. X equals 15, so that number up there would be 15. So when you've got a proportion, basically what you're saying is both of those fractions equal the same thing. It's just one looks different than the other because it hasn't been reduced. So let's say that you make $10 per hour and you want to find out how much you're going to make in 40 hours. So this is 1 hour and this is money. And so you're interested in finding out how much money you're going to make in 40 hours. So this is what you're looking for, dollars. So notice hours are on the same level, dollars are on the same level. We cross multiply. 10 times 40 equals x. So if you're making $10 an hour, you're going to make $400 in 40 hours. So notice 10 over 1 is the same as 400 over 40 if you reduce that fraction. So that's pretty much what we're doing when we're finding proportions. So we solve proportions by cross multiplying and then dividing. So if we did this one here, we would get 400 equals 1 times x because we cross multiply that. Divide by 1, and we get x equals 400. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at example 18.1. So there is example 18.1, and we're going to use proportions in order to solve this. They said, first of all, that the ratio of Arabians to mixed breeds in the herd was 2 to 17. If there were 380 horses in the herd, how many were Arabians? Alright, it helps me to put up here that you're dealing with parts and sometimes you're dealing with totals. So in order to set this up, let's see what we've got here. We have 2 Arabians and we have 17 mixed. And I know that because Arabians shows up first here. This number will show up as the ratio of Arabians. This is 17, shows up second, this shows up second. So they show up in the same order, so that should help you. So the ratio of Arabians to mixed breeds is 2 to 19. Well, how many horses are there total in this ratio? There's 19 horses total. But in this problem, they're saying if there were 380 horses total. So they're saying if we were to have 380 horses total, how many would be mixed and how many would be Arabians? And in this case, they're only interested in the Arabian part. So what we're trying to do here is find this right there, how many Arabians there are. Well, our ratio consists of a number here equals a number here, a number here. I'm sorry, a proportion. The ratio is just one fraction. The proportion is 2 that are equal to each other. So we're trying to find out what the answer is given 3 of the 4. So let's say that they don't give us that one. Alright, so we have to look and see what kind of information they give us that's consistent between both this column here and this column here. Well, we're looking for Arabians, so we know we're going to use this because we're going to have to compare this Arabians with these. So I'm going to put 2 Arabians there equals X Arabians here. What other number did they give us here? 17 and 19. Over here, they're giving us just the total, 380. So we're going to have to compare just the totals there. So we're going to have to put a 380 here and a 19 here because those are both totals. Now remember, I said this earlier, when you do these proportions, the unit, what you're looking for, has to be the same on top, has to be the same on bottom. So if I'm doing totals down here, I have to do totals here. Arabs here, Arabs here. And then I can do my cross multiplication. So 2 times 380 equals 19x. So 380 times 380 is 760 equals 19x. Then you divide by 19, divide by 19. And when we do that final division there, we end up with the number of Arabians being 40. When we divide 760 right here by 19, we get 40 Arabians. So that ends up being the answer. So this is my ratio. For every, we have 19 horses total, 2 of them are going to be Arabian, 17 are mixed. If we raise that to 380, 40 of them are going to be Arabians. And then 340 of them will be mixed. Okay, so these fractions are going to equal each other. 2 over 19 equals x over 380. This is just the reduced fraction of 40 over 380. Okay, so that's the way we do proportions in order to solve those. So let's keep going and do one more. Okay, this is example 18.2. It took 600 kilograms of sulfur to make 3,000 kilograms of the new compound. Notice how I put part above the 600 because that's part of the 3,000, which is total. How many kilograms of other materials would be required to make 4,000 kilograms of the new compound? So what I have, I've got 600 kilograms of sulfur. I've got 2,400 kilograms of not sulfur to give me the 3,000 kilograms of my total. So notice this number here I extrapolated from 600 sulfur, 3,000 total, so there must be 2,400 of things other than sulfur in there. So I don't know if I'd use that, but I put it down there anyway. Alright, what else do we have? They're giving us, in the problem, how many kilograms of other materials. So we've got sulfur plus not sulfur. That's going to give us 4,000 total. So they're saying, okay, so if we take sulfur and not sulfur, added them together, we get 4,000. This is what we're looking for. This is the other materials would be required to make 4,000 kilograms of the new. So we don't even care about the sulfur here. So if we don't care about the sulfur, then we can get rid of it there and there. So there's my proportion. 2,400 over 3,000 equals, if I change that 3,000 to 4,000, what would my x need to be in order to do that? So cross multiply. 2,400 times 4,000 equals 9,600,000. Yeah, I just did that in my head. Right. Okay, we're going to divide that by 3,000 to find out what x is. And X then is 3,200. So that means the not sulfur is 3,200 kilograms. And that's it for example 18.2. So I'm going to make another video for lesson 18 as we go into similar triangles.